Welcome back to our small group series, Antidote for Self. We are working our way steadily through this book called Humility, The Joy of Self-Forgetfulness by Gavin Ortlund. We're in chapter 4 in this session, and we have just finished up the chapter titled Humility in Leadership. And question number 1 for you in this session is this. The statement, relaxing into the vulnerability of choosing to trust. So relaxing into the vulnerability of choosing to trust, this is at the front part of the chapter, is essentially saying, I'm willing to get hurt. So that's what being vulnerable means. I'm willing to get hurt. Why must we be willing to risk being hurt in order to be effective leaders? Why do you think it is necessary to be willing to trust, be vulnerable, and get hurt in order to be effective leaders? Go ahead and pause this recording and talk a little bit about that. Welcome back. Are you the type of person that likes things to be a certain way? Let's call it your way. Or do you find it easy to let others choose and do it their way, even if it's not the way or the process or the style in which you would choose? So you tend to be a person that really likes it to be your way and kind of presses on that? Or do you tend to be a little more passive and be more open to the way other people might do something whenever you're working on something as a team in the different areas of your life? Go ahead and pause this and talk about kind of where you tend to fall. Welcome back. In the chapter, it talks a lot about encouragement. Encouragement being such a big tool for leadership, but it discusses this idea in a church of a climate of encouragement in which that's become a cultural norm throughout the church, and there is encouragement going on in all different aspects of the church. Now, what do you think a climate of encouragement would look like? So what are the specific things that would be happening in a climate of encouragement in our church? And have you seen some of those things? Maybe give some examples of either what that would mean in your mind or what you've seen happen. And then lastly, add this part, maybe as a second round for this question. How can you play a part in that? Go ahead and pause this recording and take some time to talk about that as a group. Welcome back. One of the notes in the chapter talks about these two components of leadership, the correction and the encouragement. And the book posits that leadership should be substantially more encouragement than correction. Now, I'd like you to do a little self-analysis on this next question. Do you tend to be more corrective or more encouraging? And I'd like you to think about this and discuss it from different areas of your life. So kind of apply this to family, parenting, personal relationships, work. Do you tend to be more corrective when you address things or more encouraging when you address things? Go ahead and pause the recording and discuss this. Welcome back. The book talks about correction and the fact that it's, of course, going to be a necessary component of leadership. Now, it begins to explain and talk through this idea of gentle correction. Gentle correction is not weak correction. There is a difference. Spend a few moments talking and discussing the difference between gentle correction and weak correction. Go ahead and pause the recording. Welcome back. Near the end of the chapter, the author discusses the power of apologizing and a good apology. What I'd like you to do is spend a little bit of time thinking through first and then discussing and sharing with your group. When was the last time that you can recall that you genuinely apologized to someone else for wronging them, for hurting them? So not just a simple apology, because you forgot to open the door for them or something. But I mean, like you genuinely had to go to someone and apologize for hurting them or hurting their feelings or what have you. I want you to think about that for a second, because it may not be recent. Maybe it is. And then I'd like you to think of something you can share with the group and have a conversation about. When was the last time you needed to genuinely apologize to someone? Go ahead and pause the video. Welcome back. All right, I'm going to finish up by discussing the 3 discussion questions at the end of chapter 4, and then spending some time in your group in this session, just sharing with one another something that you'd like to continue to work on, that the Holy Spirit has revealed to you through these last 4 sessions of just working through this and learning how to grow in humility, and things that the group can pray for you about that you may be struggling with. I want to encourage you to be vulnerable and be authentic as you discuss these things. I love you. We'll see you next session.